Local police have announced they're still on the lookout for the beast that has been spreading fear throughout the entire city, and that has claimed 3 victims since Wednesday night. Authorities are asking all residents to remain indoors until the creature has been captured and the curfew is lifted. You're listening to 96.6, the Kirlian frequency. All night, every night.
So, you want to hear about something niche? I got something niche for you. There's an animated horror series from Argentina that I stumbled across when I was bored and surfing Netflix. It's the Kirlian frequency, a show about a spooky little town in Argentina and all the spooky stuff that goes on wherein. All within the framework of the recordings of the titular radio show. It's a fascinating show that deserves some more attention. Let's delve right into this. But first, the scariest thing of all, capitalism. This video is brought to you by Dread. Times are tough right now, and no matter how much time you waste on the internet trying to distract yourself from the horror that is the decline of civilization and the mass death and suffering going on right now, it'll still be there waiting for you. Dread! In theaters 8 years ago. The show is an anthology series, with each episode being a different person in Kirlian calling into the show, usually about the spooky bullshit that's happening to them. There's also an overarching plot about a coming apocalyptic event that gets referenced offhandedly every so often, and everyone seems pretty chill about it.
Town has woken up with 8 fewer months than normal. As of this morning, everything ends on the night of April 30th. Incomplete, inconclusive, cut off.
One of the main inspirations for the show was a radio show, Coast to Coast AM, hosted by Art Bell, where they'd basically have wackos call in and talk about the supernatural.
Evidence that is, professionally accumulated that says that someone needs to drink blood. So this is really something that comes from their own perspective, the individuals. Right. So, I'm not a supporter of blood drinking, but I am a supporter of people's freedom.
It was pretty popular back in the 90s and is apparently still going on to this day.
Up next, the Anunnaki of Nibiru. Gerald Clark back with me on Coast to Coast AM, and he's next. Don't go away.
Visually, I love the look of this show. It has these vibrant neon colors mixed with heavy shadows. The characters are drawn as simple silhouettes with just dots of light for eyes. All the assets and backgrounds are hand-drawn, hand-colored, then imported into a program like Toon Boom. For a show with a crew of about 7 people, not including voice actors for all the various dubs, the whole thing is just dripping with this great dark atmosphere. There's so many great little visual touches everywhere. Things like how the host looks normal from the front, and like some kind of decayed skeleton from the other side, adding to the show's running theme of things being dual-natured. The soundtrack to the show is also pretty great. It's super moody and atmospheric. It's a great mixture of eerie synth and haunting piano tracks that fit the show's vibe perfectly. One of the more interesting creative decisions is the choice to exclude any audio that you wouldn't hear on the radio. What I mean is there's plenty of dialogue and sound effects we don't hear. Instead, it gives it to us through subtitles. The reason is that those moments just weren't cut on record. They just aren't on the tapes. This is typically when the broadcast is playing music. You wouldn't logically be able to hear them speaking. Many of the episode's climaxes are done this way. It's not the most audience-friendly decision, seeing as no matter what dub you watch, you're gonna have to read. But it adds to the immersion that what you're hearing is a real recording, one you were never meant to hear. Now, I think it's time we address an elephant in the room. An elephant that can't be comprehended by the mortal mind, that defies description and is also like part fish or whatever. Let's take a brief detour to Night Vale. In 2012, Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor released Welcome to Night Vale, a podcast series about a spooky little town in America, and all the spooky stuff therein, framed within the context of a public radio show. Sound familiar? Now, I bring this up because it's easy to draw comparisons between the two.
Lights, seen in the sky above the Arby's. Not the glowing sign of Arby's. Something higher and beyond that.
On the next segment, strange lights hovering over Kirlian. An invasion or tourists? We'll be right back.
Both being series that started online and have a similar premise. A radio show from a small town where weird Cthulhu horror happens, but it's a little more complicated than that. Kirlian Frequency actually was first conceived in 2009 as a live-action series, believe it or not, but the pilot was never finished, and anything from it has yet to see the light of day. It wasn't until years later that Christian Ponce, the show's creator, picked the concept back up and released it in the form that we know it as today. So neither show really ripped off the other, I guess. And in all honesty, there's nothing original under the sun. Everything takes some amount of inspiration from something. Great artists borrow, good artists steal or something. So there's nothing really wrong with two similar shows coexisting. Let me put it this way. Night Vale is like a comedy series with horror skin stretched over it like an ironic t-shirt, where the joke of eldritch horror is mundane, lol, is stretched out for God, how? Conversely, Kirlian Frequency is more of a genuine horror series, with bits of black humor sprinkled in here and there.
Roads look like a maze, and the city doesn't appear on any map.
It appears in our maps. Our kids have been drawing it in school for years.
They're really two different beasts when you get down to it. Speaking of beasts, Netflix. In 2018, Netflix bought the rights to the show, leading to it vanishing from YouTube and Vimeo. Ooh, spooky. Only for it to reappear exclusively on Netflix. Now with an English and Portuguese dub. I know Netflix has streamed online shows like Rooster Teeth's Ruby and Red vs. Blue, but this is the first I've ever heard of a series just being scooped up like this. Maybe it's for the best, considering it's given a new platform and the dubs gave the series a lot more international exposure. There are only 6 episodes out right now, with the 7th releasing on Halloween. Wait, that's today. There are only 7 episodes out today. All of them right now clocking in at under 10 minutes long. So you can finish the whole series in just about an hour. You've got the 5 dubbed episodes on Netflix, as well as the 6th and 7th episode on Tangram Cine, the official production studio behind the series' official YouTube channel. I haven't been able to find any concrete information on the future of the series, such as if any more episodes will be brought to Netflix and dubbed. My best guess is if Netflix is still going to distribute the show, they're probably just waiting for another 5 episodes to be complete so they can just dub and release them and say it's like a 2nd season or something. Gives them an excuse to promote it. That'd be nice. It's such a unique show that really fills that particular niche of horror animation so well. With the kind of story hooks that get you invested in the mystery and wanting to see what happens next. Reminds me a bit of that early mystery in Night Vale, before all the mysteries got solved over the course of... Just watch Kirlian Frequency, and if you like it, ask for more. Support the people who make it, and talk about it.
I wish you all a Merry Christmas.